Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, and I am live with my regular Wednesday morning Facebook Live. This is a card class to go. I'm just hearing my echo, so I'm just going to turn this down a bit. There we go. Hopefully that helps. So originally I thought I wouldn't be able to be on live at this time, but I got the dates mixed up, and my son's wisdom teeth extraction was actually yesterday. So he is fast asleep and recovering from that, and I'm able to go live at my regular time. So this week I am featuring the Sweet Citrus bundle. This is a really cool bundle. I'm excited to share it with you, as well as our Sale-a-bration paper, the Favored Flowers Designer Series paper. So I'm going to focus in on my desktop so you guys can really see that product up close, and we will get started stamping. So I'll show you the Sale-a-bration paper first. This is one of our free with a purchase papers. This is free with a $60 purchase. And it has these gorgeous, gorgeous patterns on one side. So some, I'm not sure if that's Cajun Craze or Calypso Coral, some fresh freesia, some petal pink, I think that is Old Olive, and then some Blackberry Bliss and some more Old Olive. So really beautiful, fun patterns on one side. And then the other side are some amazing florals. And so these are just incredible papers for creating some really beautiful projects. Now, I'm actually not using any of the florals in today's card class. As beautiful as I think they are, they kind of intimidate me. So I am focusing on these fantastic patterns and pairing them up with the sweet citrus. All right, so I'm going to put those off to the side, and I'm going to show you the bundle that we're using today. So the bundle that we've got going on has this great stamp set, all the pieces here to make some wonderful citrus fruits. And I've even seen this little guy turned into a coconut. So kind of neat. And then some fun little punny sentiments. Have a zesty birthday, sending you a big squeeze. Thanks a bunch. So some cute sentiments there. And then what makes this one such a neat bundle is that it comes with an embossing folder and some dies, but this is a hybrid embossing folder, and I'll show you this in action a little bit later. But this die actually fits right into the embossing folder, and you can run that through all in one go, and you can cut and emboss all at one time. So pretty awesome that way. All right, so I'm going to set those off to the side as well, and we will get started stamping. So our first card today is this little beauty, and this is actually a case of a card in our, actually I'm not sure if it's in the catalog or if it's just online. Let's see. But I've just switched up the designer series paper and the embellishment used on this card. But otherwise, it's actually a card that was designed by Stampin' Up. So I love being able to do that. Our catalogs are so great because they actually are not just catalogs, but they really are idea books. And so let me just see. I'm having trouble finding my Sweet Citrus page. Ah, here we go. So there we go. So here on page 48 in our catalog, you can see that they've got this lovely card, and they've used a different designer series paper in the background and different embellishments on the card. But really what I've done is I've just cased this card entirely. So I'm going to show you guys how to create this using this amazing free designer series paper. So what I have here is a thick basic white card base. I'm just going to grab my bone folder and really burnish that edge so it stays closed. I love using basic white card bases because it means that I don't have to put an insert on the inside. My card's just ready to go to write in. All right, so our first step is we're going to take a piece of our designer series paper, and we're just going to glue it straight to our card front. So here we go. I like to use liquid glue for this. Sorry guys, I still have my cough. I cannot get rid of it. It's pretty awful. All right, here we go. So I've just glued a piece of designer series paper straight to the front. And I'm going to kind of set that off to the side. And we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to show you, first of all, the easiest way to use this stamp set. You could do this on big blocks or using a Stamparatus. And I'm just going to take some Daffodil Delight ink and ink up. This is just the outlines of our citrus fruits. Okay, so some Daffodil Delight there. I see there's a few of you on. If you want to say hi, let me know who's watching. I'd love to know who's here with me. All right, so now we're going to take this, and I'm just really going to play with this until I see that it's fitting on my paper. It's really only going to fit in one manner, and otherwise it's going to, like, some of the fruit's going to go off the page. All right. So we have stamped our fruit. There we go. Set that off to the side. And now I'm going to grab the piece that colors the inside of our fruit, and I'm going to ink that up with some Blushing Bride. Now, if you don't have Blushing Bride, I think you could probably get away with using Flirty Flamingo and stamping it off, but it will have a slightly different tone to it. And I just think our Blushing Bride is the perfect grapefruit color. Now, because these are clear, you can actually see, so I'm just going and lining up all three fruits before I push down. And there we go. And we have our awesome little fruit insides all stamped. Okay, next up is, you know what? I'm not sure if I used Granny Apple Green. I think I may have actually done Pear Pizzazz to keep this a little bit toned down, but I didn't list it. So we're going to go with Granny Apple Green and see what happens. I might just want to stamp this one off. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, if I do a stamped off Granny Apple Green, we're going to be good here. So I'm going to stamp that off and then stamp them. So it just takes our Granny Apple Green and gives it a little bit of softness, because otherwise it is a very vibrant color. And although we have used the Daffodil Delight, which is also very vibrant, I just don't want my leaves overpowering my grapefruit. All right, so we have our three little sets of leaves stamped there in stamped off Granny Apple Green. Oh, hi, Jacqueline. And now I am going to grab my Blushing Bride again and fill in some of our spaces with a singular flower. So I'm just coming along and filling in all the holes here. There we go. Oops. And then we're going to grab our Daffodil Delight one more time. Kind of back and forth on all these colors, but just using three colors. But kind of going back and forth on them. And we're going to put little centers on these flowers. There we go. All right. So now we are ready to stamp our sentiment. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And I'm going to grab my sentiment here. And this is just a strip, a 1/2-inch strip of basic black cardstock. I am going to use my embossing buddy on this anytime, especially when I use black paper. I like to use the embossing buddy to make sure there's no oils on there before I stamp. And we're going to get the Have a Zesty Birthday sentiment and some Versamark ink. I'm going to ink that up, and then I'm just taking a look at my H and my exclamation point to make sure that they're on my sentiment strip. As long as I've got them on, then the whole sentiment itself will be lined up nicely. All right, then I'm going to grab my Powder Pal, and I already have white embossing powder in here. And I'm just going to run this through the powder and make sure the whole sentiment gets nicely covered in embossing powder. Okay, there we go, looking good. So put that out of the way. Just going to make sure I don't have any embossing powder where I don't want it. Okay, looks nice. So now I am going to grab my tweezers that comes in my Embossing Editions kit, and I'm just going to hold on to that while I heat this up. Oh, I know, Jacqueline, there are so many good sets in this catalog. All right, so we have our whole sentiment strip here heated up, and we'll just put that down. Now I'm going to grab a pair of paper snips, and I'm just going to use them to trim this down on a little bit of an angle on both ends. There we go. So we just have that cute little sentiment strip now. Put these into my little scrap bin. There we go. All right, and now I'm going to finish this card off by gluing our stamped images right to the card front. No dimensionals or anything. So just some liquid glue, and we're going to center this on our card front. There we go. So this paper's kind of nice because you can actually use the pattern on the paper to help get it straight. All right, and then I have just a piece of black baker's twine from our basics baker's twine or essentials baker's twine kit. You get like black and crumb cake, white, I think gray granite, a nice variety of twine in there. All right, so I've tied a nice little bow. Oops, that one's wanting to curl in, so let's just train it to not do that. There. So I do want it to be quite a big floppy bow, maybe not quite that big. There. And then I'm just going to test it out. Yeah, it's just sticking out how I'd like off the sides. So I'm going to get some mini glue dots now. Oh yeah, the thistle bundle is really nice, Jacqueline. I don't have that one, but it's very pretty. All right, so I'm going to take this mini glue dot. Nope, come on. And I'm actually going to put it on the back of my sentiment strip, not on the back of my, or not on my cardstock. And I'm going to use it to pick up this little piece of twine. And so I've got that on the angle I want it on and the position I want it for my card. And now I'm going to put 2 dimensionals behind here, one on each side. So none where I actually have that twine attached. Okay, pull that off. And now I'm going to place this on my card front. I do want it so it's kind of covering up like where the leaves and everything come together, and it is going off the edge of the DSP. There we go. Now I'm going to grab my paper snips one more time and just trim up the edges of that twine. We're almost finished this card. I just need to embellish it. Oh, and I just realized I did not grab my embellishments before I began. So let's hope I've got them right here beside me. Yikes. Oh, good, I do. So what I am using on today's card is our flat adhesive back pearls. They're very, very cool, all kind of iridescent, and yeah, I just love them. So we're just going to pick up a large one and pop it into that nice open space. And then we'll grab a few smaller ones and pop them in over here. And actually, you know what, I might do this one a little bit differently just because I have different open space than I had on the original one. All right. Yeah, I think we'll go with 4 on that one. So just a nice little splattering of adhesive back pearls, flat pearls on this card. And that is our first card for this card class to go, all done. So I'm going to set those off to the side, and I'll grab the stuff for our second card. So, oh, thanks, Jacqueline. So if you've never seen one of my card classes to go, what happens is with a $60 purchase this month, you get your free Sale-a-bration item of your choice, and then you get a card kit that has what you need to create 2 of each of the cards that I'm showing today. So I'm just showing what one card set would look like. You'd actually get 2 of these. And so you get like your ribbon and your paper and all the things you need. You just need to have your own stamp set and inks and adhesives and stuff like that. All right, so this one is kind of a fun fold. I'm going to get started here by doing our fold. So it's a regular card, but then the front gets folded back. So we have a little bit of a different look here. You know what, Jacqueline? I didn't get the bundle that goes with those pearls either, but I just find that they work so beautifully with other things, especially that citrus bundle. To me, they're kind of like fancy citrus pits or something. I don't know. They just work well. All right, so first thing we're going to do is attach a piece of designer series paper to the front flap of this card. And we've also got a piece of basic white that we're going to attach to the inside of this card. So that's kind of step 1. Let's get as many pieces out of our way as possible. Now, if you're the type of person who doesn't like to stamp after you've glued something, maybe don't glue this white one yet. I am a brave soul who will stamp glued bits all the time. All right, so there we have kind of our basic outline for our card. Now I'm going to grab my ribbon here, and I'm actually going to tuck it behind my card and figure out where it will tie. Now, before I actually tie that down, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here, and I'm actually going to use mini glue dots for this because I want this ribbon to not just free fall when we open up the card. I want it to stay somewhat attached to the card, but I can't attach it to the back. Well, I guess I could attach it to the back. I don't want to attach it to the back. I want it to be free moving so that our card can open, but I don't want to lose the ribbon. So we're going to just attach it right there on the front, and that's a nice safe spot to attach it because this is also going to get covered up by our sentiment piece here. All right, and then just to keep everything tucked and out of the way, I'm actually going to tie our bow. So I just kind of cross those over once and then make some bunny ears here. And with those bunny ears done, I can then come in and trim this. But now you want people to be able to open and close this, so don't trim it too short. Trim it as little as possible so that they're still going to have a lot of ribbon to work with to tie and retie this. Okay, there we go. Just wanted a nice angle on those ribbon ends. All right. so with that part done, we're going to set that off to the side and start creating the bits that are going to go on our card. So I need some Night of Navy ink, and I'm going to stamp the words "Thanks a bunch" over on the far right side of our circle. Put that away for a moment, and I'm going to grab some fresh freesia ink, and I'm going to stamp these flowers so that they kind of sit just under, and stamp another one. Yeah, just one right up here. So now this one's a bit trickier because I'm trying not to get those other two flowers on there. I got a little bit, but we can't really tell. So that's going to work out just fine. And then on our card down here, I'm going to stamp one. And I should grab my envelope as well and stamp my envelope. I forgot to stamp my first envelope. Sorry, guys. All right, and I never did a sample one either. There we go. All right. Oops, I just put that in the ink. Oh, well, it's on the inside. Okay, so we've got lots of stamping done here. Now I just realized we have to stamp those flowers one more time. Sorry. We're going to stamp those onto this little piece. Okay. So with all of that stamped, we now have to stamp in our centers on our flowers. And I'm going to use Night of Navy for that. So this one has some daffodil on it. I'm going to clean that up so we don't end up with some weird green center. And so this guy goes into the center of all of our larger flowers. Whether it was part of the trio or a single flower, it all goes together like that. All right. And then we have this little double center. And so this does the other two flowers all in one go. It's a little bit trickier to use because you have to line them both up, but not too bad. Okay, so there we have it, of all of our flower centers done. Oh, not the ones on our envelopes yet, though. Whoops. There we go. Try not to get this envelope in the ink. And our centers of our bigger flowers. There we go. Okay, so lots of centers stamped. We are done with that part now. Put away that Night of Navy ink. Move our envelope off to the side. And now we can adhere this to our card front. And I actually adhered this with dimensionals, but I just put them on one side. So just kind of put a dimensional above and below our ribbon. So above and below our ribbon. And then let's cut another little chunk here. And then kind of out at the far edge. So I can peel all those backings off by putting the dimensionals right onto my card front. Then it means that I won't end up with any kind of stuck where they shouldn't be, and closing up our card so that it won't reopen. All right, so put that down like that and put those off to the side now. Now we have this cute little piece, and so what we're going to do with this is we're actually going to die cut these flowers. Now I love the dies in this set. Now where did I put them? Good morning. It just says Facebook user, so I'm not sure who's just popped on and said hello, but thanks for joining me. So here we go. I've got one of our dies. We actually get two of these, so it's really nice. It makes for a quick, easy bouquet if you want to do a lot of stamping and die cutting. They've given us 2 single flowers, 2 sets of the bundle, and 2 sets of leaves. So even though we only have 1 stamp to go with each of those, we can really die cut quite quickly to create things. All right, so I'm going to bring in my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And so this is the new one that you can get actually when you sign up with Stampin' Up. And I've actually recently been reading that some people have received this and are having a tough time. So I just wanted to share with you one of my tricks is I actually don't use the sandwich that they recommend. I actually use plate 3, not plate 1, along with my plate 2. And you want to make sure that you kind of stagger them when you put them in to create your sandwich. And then I pop my flowers on and put my die over top. Oh, come on. There we go. Sometimes you want to use a piece of washi tape to hold that all in place. And then I put my second plate 2 over top and run it through, and no problems at all. So if you're having trouble with your new machine, if you've signed up and are having trouble, try that new combo of using plate 3 instead of plate 1, and I think you'll have a lot of success with it. Yeah, so there we go. That is that piece all die cut. So now we have these 3 great little flowers, and I'm going to grab, you can either grab mini dimensionals or you can grab large ones and just cut them up. And so I'm just going to take a mini dimensional. Oh, come on. And I'm going to try to pick up this flower I die cut. There we go. And I'm going to put that on the back, right in the center. And pop that on right over top. There we go. And then we've got these 2 little flowers, and I'm going to flip them over and put mini dimensionals on the back of them as well. And we're going to pop them up above right onto the designer series paper. So just up here. All right. Oh, hi, Cynthia. Oh, snowy. Oh, no. We're getting a little bit of some colder temperatures, but no snow, thank goodness. All right. So we've got that done. Now we have to add those flat adhesive back pearls to finish this card off. So I'm going to come in here. And so when you order with me, if you place a $70 order, you're going to get your freebie from Sale-a-bration, which could be this gorgeous paper that we're using. So you can make lots more of this card. You're going to get your make and take kits. And then with that $70 purchase, you're actually also going to get a pack of these flat backed pearls from me. All right, so that is our second card all done. Kind of a fun little fold. And so when you untie it, it kind of accordions out and it's super cute. So that's our second card. And now our third card, I think is my favorite. I don't know why I love orange so much, and especially this Calypso Coral. I just love that we've been able to use the flowers. We've made grapefruits. Now we've got oranges happening or tangerines, and just love them. And of course, you can use this set to make lemons as well. Oh, thank you so much, Cynthia. Yeah, I really love the colors in this designer series paper pack. All right, so we have a Calypso Coral base here. I'm going to take one of my pieces of basic white and just start off right away by gluing it to the inside of my card. We just want that out of the way immediately. Okay. So there we go. Just get that out of the way. And then I'm also going to take my designer series paper and immediately glue that to my card front. Just want that done. Okie dokie. So with those in place, we can kind of put our card base off to the side for a moment and get focused on some stamping. So I have a little label here that was die cut using the scallop contour dies. And so we're just going to get our Calypso Coral ink and stamp, sending you a big squeeze right up in the top. Oh, I need to stand up to line this up well. right up in the top right-hand corner. There we go, sending you a big squeeze. Now I'm going to put the lid back on my ink for a moment because I need to do a little bit of cleaning. I forgot that we have Blushing Bride and Daffodil Delight still on our fruit pieces. So I just want to clean that up and make sure that we have no, still have a bit there. There we go. Just want to make sure we have no color on there because I don't want my Calypso Coral mixing with these other colors. I don't think the Blushing Bride would matter too much. They're similar in shade, but the Daffodil Delight certainly is a bright that would alter my color. All right. So what we're going to do now is take this piece of basic white cardstock and my Calypso Coral ink, and just like I did before, I'm going to ink up my whole fruit outline. Okay, I think that's nice and dark. And full strength, we are going to take this and stamp it onto our cardstock. And kind of like, I don't know, I shouldn't probably do it too in the middle, but there we go. So just like that, I've got my fruit stamped. Now I'm going to take the inside of my fruit and I'm going to also ink it up with Calypso Coral. However, we're not going to stamp it full strength. Okay, we are going to stamp this one off and then come in and fill in our fruit. Oh, I don't think I lined that up quite right. Oh, well, not bad. Okay, so we've stamped that one off to do this. Now, before I do anything with this, because I just realized I should have done it a little bit lower to leave myself more space for flowers and leaves, we are going to stamp our flowers and leaves. So I am going to stamp 3 flowers, but I'm stamping them off. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and so they're all stamped off. And put that aside. Then I'm going to grab my Granny Apple Green and I'm going to stamp 2 sets of leaves. And just like we did on our first card, we're going to stamp them off. Oops, that did not stamp off nicely. Stamp it off and stamp it off. There we go. And stamp it off. And let's see, how can I fit this in? There we go. All right, so I've got 2 sets of leaves stamped there. So it's a little bit tight because I didn't drop it down as far as I should have. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I am just going to trim, lost my scissors, there we go. I'm just going to trim the leaves and the flowers off of here. This would have been easier if I had stamped properly and stamped down at the bottom, so then I just do one straight line to cut these off. There we go. All right. So with these little bits off, I am going to run these through our mini machine right now. Okay, come on, pick up. There we go. And grab my plates. Pop that on there. And I can actually do 2 leaves and 2 flowers at one time, which is pretty awesome. So set of leaves. Well, that's assuming I put these far enough apart. I may have to cut them apart from each other for it to fit. We'll see. Oh, I did put them far enough apart. Wonderful. Okay. And then 2 flowers. And so I just love that they gave us so many dies, because otherwise doing something like this with multiple flowers could be really tedious. I'm not the most patient person in the world. I know die cutting is faster than fussy cutting, but still, if you have to use one die to cut out a bunch of flowers, it would become a bit too much for me. Okay, so that's all lined up. We'll put our top plate on and roll those through. There we go. Oh no, and then, drop all your dies. So we'll free these flowers and free these leaves. And now I want to show you that you've kind of got two options. Oh, sorry, we've got one more flower to run through. And I've lost a flower die. There we go. One more flower to run through before I want to show you the really cool part of this whole thing. Okay, so when you're lining these up, there's one petal that is kind of pointy. So that's what I kind of like to look for to line up that one flower. All right. Oh, hi, Gail. Yeah, we're just working with the sweet citrus bundle and the Favorite Flowers Designer Series paper, the Stampin' Up one, or Sale-a-bration one. And yeah, we're just working on that. So I wanted to show you guys now. We've got a few options. If you want to take advantage of our join deal, you don't have an embossing machine yet and all of that, we can trim this down and we can pop this on here along with this fantastic die. And this is actually going to fit through our mini machine. We're going to be able to go through and die cut these fruit using our mini machine, and it's going to work beautifully. But I am actually going to do what I don't normally do. I am going to bring in my big machine, which, by the way, right now, because you can get $225 worth of product, you can actually add a big machine to your join order. I'm going to bring in my big machine and show you how the embossing folder works. So I have got here my monstrous machine. Just move everything out of the way to fit this on. I have got just our regular plate one, our regular base. And then I am going to take the embossing folder, if I can find it. Here we go. I'm going to take the embossing folder that comes in this kit. I am going to take the dies and pop them in, and you'll actually feel them kind of click in place. I'm going to take those dies. I'm going to take my stamped images and line them up so that they are matched up with both the embossing and the die cutting. And when that's all lined up, I'm going to close my folder, take plate 4 and put it over top, and we're going to roll this whole sandwich through our big machine. And now I'm going to move this monstrous thing out of the way. There we go. And move that plate. And when we open this up, we have die cut and embossed all in one go these beautiful pieces of fruit. So they have so much texture to them. They look so cool. So that is kind of the coolest thing about these hybrid embossing folders, is that those dies and embossing folders work together. Kind of the only disadvantage to them is they don't fit through our cute little mini. So if you don't have an embossing machine at all, now's the time, because you can get a big one and a small one when you join. It's kind of awesome. All right, so now we're going to put all this stuff together. So I've got a piece here of pale papaya ribbon and satin edged ribbon, and we're going to tie that around our scalloped stamped piece and make a knot. And I'm actually going to double down, granny knot, cross it and cross it again. Okay, so what that's going to allow me to do now is to kind of fiddle around and move this down so it's on the last bump on our page. That's going to give me space to have a bow and not kind of interrupt my words or the things that I'm going to be attaching to this. Okay, so let's go and tie that one around. There we go. And get our cute little bow here, and then we can trim up our ends. There and there. Awesome. All right. So with that done, we are going to attach this to our card front. I'm going to use liquid glue and just kind of center it and put it right on there. So grab my liquid glue and pop this onto our card. All right. There we go. Now, some people don't like using the liquid glue with the ribbon there. You could always use like Seal Plus or tear and tape, something like that. All right. There we have it. It's attached to our card. Now comes kind of the finicky bit. This part, you're just going to kind of have to play around and do what you like best with this. I'm going to start with the easy things like my first flower. I'm going to take a mini glue dot, pop it onto the back of my flower, and attach this little guy to the corner. Now to create kind of this whole little jumble of oranges and stuff here, because I kind of wanted it in a particular way, I am just going to lay it out briefly and then grab some dimensionals, real size ones. Where'd you go? There we go, full size dimensionals. And I'm going to start with my orange at the top because I really want to make sure that orange at the top is covering up the whole corner and not covering up my sentiment. Yeah, isn't this a great bundle, Gail? Like so pretty. All right, so covering the corner, not covering my sentiment. There we go. Now my next little piece here, I want to position my dimensionals so that they don't overlap because I don't want a dimensional on top of this other piece that already has a dimensional. Okay, and we'll pop that one down like that. Now this little guy is going to go right there, and so I can kind of do center and far corner there, and pop that in. Now I want this one to come down, so it's kind of covering down low like that. All right, now we're going to grab some more mini glue dots and possibly some dimensionals, and we're going to attach our leaves. So I'm going to put a mini glue dot at the top, and that's not going to stick off far enough for me to need dimensionals. So we're just going to do that, and then another mini glue dot to attach the flower. And we're going to use that flower to kind of cover up where the three oranges meet. And then another mini glue dot on the back of these leaves. And now these ones are tricky because we want to make sure that they're staying on our card. I don't want them flying off the side. There we go. And finally, one more for the flower. So now you do have a leftover little tangerine. You can do what you want with him. I'm just putting him in my scraps bin. All right, and pop this guy on just like that. Okay, and then we finish the card up by adding some of those flat adhesive backed pearls. And I'm just using the small ones, and I'm using them as the centers of my 3 flowers. Okay, so there we go. So not too crazy with the embellishments on this card, just 3 little ones. There we go. And now this side looks like it's kind of falling over to me, so I'm just going to come in here and grab a dimensional and pop that under. There we go. That's just going to hold that up so it doesn't sag down. All right, so that is our 3rd card all finished. Just move some of these things out of the way, and I'll bring back all 3 cards that we created today. So when you get your card kit, you'll actually get enough stuff to create 2 of each of these designs. And that's going to be your card class to go. So there are links for ordering. And remember that with a $70 purchase, you'll get the Make and Take kit plus our flat adhesive back pearls. And of course, you'll be able to choose a celebration item. So it's a really great time to be shopping with Stampin' Up! And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will be live on Sunday with one more card featuring this bundle and this designer series paper, and show you guys one more fun little card on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So I hope you guys can join me then. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, give me a shout. Ask me anything you want about our join deal and benefits of joining my team, or about placing an order, all of that. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Oh, thanks, Gail. Yeah, the colors and everything, this just paired up so beautifully together. I was really happy with them. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.